Welcome back to the Mad Scientist Laboratory. Don't mind the mess. We had about a week and a half of like 25 below weather up here. 25, 30 below at night. I'm not exaggerating. That's without wind chill. So I mean, we had to make room in here for all our vehicles. You know, my wife's Jeep, the dog, the cat, the cows, the chickens, the raccoons, the squirrels. So I haven't been getting much done, but that weather has passed, thank goodness. I run I should probably tell you what I do here. I run a body shop and a radiator shop. I sell new radiators, repair radiators. Lately, I've turned into kind of basically a used car salesman. I don't do a lot of customer body work anymore. I just kind of buy wrecks and repair them and sell them. But anyway, back to the engine here. Since 1985, I've been doing all this stuff. What is that? 31 years, 36 years, 36 years in business, and that's just on my own. I worked at another shop over in Foley for 5 years before that. Back to the engine. Here we go. It's the day that you've all been waiting for. It's dyno day. Hang on, I gotta get rid of this guy. This is Bisbee. He sleeps in here every night. He's the shop cat, indoor outdoor dude that he's just takes care of all the burglars, and he's very vicious, as you can tell. We'll get him out of here and then we'll get back to the engine. Anyway, I got it back on the floor stand, as you can see, and we're gonna back the truck in here and throw it in the back of the truck and get going, man. We're running late. Load 'em up, head 'em out, move 'em out. Right. Well, we got her in there, and she's all strapped down. I always wanted a big block in my old truck. Now I got a big block in there. Just what I always wanted. And we got a few ratchet straps on her, a little fuel we're going to bring along, and oh, there's it's either going to be the celebratory barley pops or the condolence, what do you call it when you send flowers to a funeral? This is going to be one or the other anyway when we get done here today. So yeah, let's talk about what kind of camera I'm going to use here for. I'll try to get some footage here on this deal today, but here's the deal. I'll probably just bring that cheap GoPro I have with me to this thing today. It's not going to be very good footage. The noise on it, the sound, the audio is awful. You're just going to have to bear with me. You know, I mean, I'll try to film a little bit, but it's just so embarrassing to bring a big old camera with everywhere I go. That's why I don't do a lot of filming at the track either, you know. I should really have a lot more footage at the racetracks I go to, you know. I'll try to get some more of that this summer for you, but it's just, you know, especially at the racetracks, you know, there's just so much to do, you know. So many people to talk to, and so many, you know, coolers to raid and burgers to fry, and, you know, campfires to build, and I'm just so busy when I'm at the track. But I'll try to do a little better job of that this summer. And my cameras are crap, you know. Sometimes when I'm at the track, though, you know, I'm up there all weekend, and I'm having so much fun, and, you know, it's kind of like, what, there's racing up here too? Because, you know, then there's the whole driving the car part, you know, you got that. But that, you know, I'll try to do a little better job. You know, I'm not a digital, I'm horrible with gadgets and devices and electronics, and all they seem to do is just frustrate me, you know. And I miss my daughter as the one who actually started this channel way back in the day. I think a lot of that footage is gone, but she was a lot better at this stuff than I am. So have some patience with me, you know. She's gone to college now, and I'll try to do the best I can with this camera I have, but it's, I'm warning you, it's going to be crappy. Now let's talk about the power. You know, I made the mistake of bringing up a number in an earlier video, and a lot of the math has changed on this engine since then. A lot of it because of that piston to valve clearance. So I don't expect any big spectacular numbers out of this deal. You know, it's just going to be a dyno session with a street engine. You know, I chose the cam this time around, and, you know, usually I don't do that. I rely on somebody a little more knowledgeable. And this camshaft in this engine is really a low-end torque style of camshaft. You know, you watch a lot of these dyno videos, especially on YouTube, and they've got this big, wide, lobe angle separation, and you can tell what they're going for is peak RPM, peak horsepower. You know, this isn't going to be anything like that. This camshaft that I used in here is made for lower RPM torque, and it's not going to probably make much power over 6,000. I know it's not going to make anything over 6,500. And that, you know, that it should have a nice flat torque curve though, hopefully. And that is because it's a street engine. You know, that alone, the power being so even like that throughout the power band should give it great throttle response. It should just be a fun engine to drive out on the street. And that's kind of what I was going for here. This isn't a racing engine, so don't expect anything spectacular out of it. And that's about it. We better hit the road, you know. Jump in. Let's get going.
Good state. Why does everybody gotta drive 80, huh? 85. Rusty and I were growing up, 55 to stay alive. We're not used to this crap. Old buddy Sean left. Got my helper left. Now it's 80 years. What? Is that a beer? Is that a beer you're drinking? What? Put that beer away. Jeez, man. Are you trying to get us in trouble? I did pretty well. Oh, yeah, we better make sure the engine's back there still. Up. Yep. She is still on there. Maybe we might have to go back to Hudson or something and fish it out of the ditch. Going to Clare, Wisconsin. I don't know, right now it's somewhere in Spooner or Mayberry or some cheese head. On our way. Everybody's going to be named Sean today, which is a good thing. I won't forget everyone's name like I normally do. It's a bad thing because it can be a little confusing by the end of the day. But everybody's named Sean. My helper, the dyno guy, the guy at the gas station, the guy in that semi-truck up there.
What do you want to start at?
Well, I don't know. Go up,
I like to
go up to
jump on it.
45, and then
we'll
go up to 55. And,
Full or something. Yeah. Go from there.
yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're back from the dyno. It was, well, I guess I'd call it successful session. I know the main thing everyone wants to know, how much power did it make, right? The main thing I was concerned about, it didn't blow up. We didn't see any rods fly through the pan. This is the guy who didn't make as much power as we thought. But I seen that one coming. We were short about 50 ponies. You know, they got out of the corral, so I went somewhere. I don't know. I could probably find them if I wanted to do a little fishing and make a few little changes to it. But the bottom line is, it made about 630 horsepower at a little over 6,000 RPM, and it made about 589 or 580 something. I'll show you the sheets in a minute. Oh darn, I gotta get that. Yeah, 630, 638, something like that. Hang on. Successful. Any dyno session where you don't come home in pieces is a successful one in my book. And it did run like a clock. I mean, it fired right up. We tried to tune it, but I mean, I had it pretty well dialed in from the get-go, you know. It's always interesting to put it on the dyno and see where your power band quits, and you know, if you have any oil leaks or anything, they're a lot easier to fix before you put it in the car. But anyway, I know everybody is wondering what it made, if anyone even gives a crap. But we're missing about 50 ponies. They got out of the corral somewhere. I don't know. You know, I think I could probably round them up, you know, if I went looking for those 50 ponies. You can always find 10, 20, but I don't know if I could find all 50 without making a couple changes. But yeah, she came up a little short on the peak horsepower, and that's what everybody's always concerned about with the dyno, is your peak horsepower, you know. And it is easy to kind of fake that. But you know, I'm an honest guy. The thing made about 630 horsepower, and it made about 590 torque. And the torque curve was nice and flat, just like I kind of thought it would be. You know, it's a nice street engine, just like I knew it would be. And I could get more peak horsepower out of it probably by making a little less streetable. But this engine is not. You know, I have racing engines. This is the correct numbers matching car that's going to go in it if I ever sell it, if I ever die and my wife sells it or whatever. You know, I mean, it's a numbers correct, date code correct engine that belongs in the car when I'm done with all this drag racing stuff, you know. And it'd make a great drag racing motor. I mean, it's on pump gas, you know. 630 horse is actually pretty respectable for an unleaded pump gas, 91 octane. You know, numbers correct, OEM, you know, original 50-year-old heads. You know, it's, you know, I had a little higher expectations because I'll show you the sheets here. I'll show you both the dyno sheets and the, what made me have a little higher expectations were the head flow sheets that the guy gave me. That, you know, when I do the math, there's all kinds of calculators that you can use to do that math and figure out how much power an engine's going to make, you know. And the flow numbers on the heads don't really add up to the kind of power we made, you know. And that could be my cam selection too. I knew that was going to hold us back. You know, I told you guys that before I even left. The cam is a street cam, you know what I mean? It's not high rev. You know, the way I would explain this is, you ever ride like an old dirt bike? I used to race a little motocross. I was horrible at it, but the old two-stroke dirt bikes, especially the 125s and stuff, you'd hold them, you know, you'd be accelerating, RPM would be coming up, nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden, wham, it'd flip you over backwards, right? Well, that's the way that most people design a drag racing engine, because think about it. When you're on the drag strip, your gas pedal's always right to the freaking wood, you know. You're always at wide open throttle. And then you can put a loose converter in it and some low gears and have that thing at peak power all the way down the track. So that's the way a drag racing motor is designed. And you do that with the camshaft. You know, and I didn't want this motor to run like that. You know, it's the correct engine for the car. So the cam selection probably held us back, and I don't think those heads performed the way that I thought they were gonna. But we got it. It fired right up. It purrs like a kitten. I mean, it's gonna be a really fun street engine. And now we'll dump the oil out and get some fresh oil in it, and we set the valve lash, and we'll it'll be fun to put it in the car, you know. The engine I have in the car right now needs to come out and get fresh, and it'd be kind of fun to put this in there and take it to the track, and I'll take you guys with, and then we'll see what it does on the drag strip, because a lot of times those torque numbers will translate to some pretty decent ETs. You know, it'll sneak into the 10s. I don't think it'll hit 1050, but that's what I was kind of shooting for. Would have been really cool to hit 1050 on pump gas with the original parts. You know, that would have been neat. But it's not for that. You know, I mean, if I build an engine fast or something, it wouldn't be anything like this. So all in all, a good dyno session. We had a lot of fun, had a lot of laughs. You know, the guy that runs the dyno is really fun to hang out with, and he's very knowledgeable. He's actually been NHRA Division 5 Pro Division champion before. Took third once. So he does a lot of drag racing, and all he does is big block Chevys, and I mean, I don't really care about that, because he's a really fun guy to hang out with, and he gives me a lot of advice and knowledge on these big blocks. Anyway, that's it. That's our day. I'll show you the sheets here. Okay, I don't know if you can see this very well, but here we have our 590, 587.2 on the torque, and you can see the curve. It never goes under 500. I mean, it's between 500 and 600 the whole way through the RPM band. I mean, that's going to be so fun to drive out on the street. And then here we have our weak are missing ponies, you know. And this is, you know, this is what everybody wants to know, you know. And it's there are a lot of things here that determine how quick your ET is going to be, besides the peak horsepower. But we come up a little short, and I've overachieved on the last two engines that I built, so I kind of had, you know, unrealistic expectations probably with these parts I was using. But it's it is what it is, you know what I mean. And here's why I don't understand this. We should have made more power, because look at these flow numbers we had on those heads that we redid. I mean, this is not adding up very well, you know. I don't know why, if these are factual, what the deal was with the lack of power. But this is the exhaust side here, and this is the intake side, which is on Big Block Chevy. You're always fighting to get more flow on the intakes, and man, we had flow up the yin yang there. So when I do the calculator, geez, we should have had about 680 horse, not 630. But like I say, you know, I mean, it's the engine is going to go down the track a few times and then go under the bench, because the parts are so rare, and it's date code and correct for the car, numbers correct, so it never really was. I can't help myself but try to make power, you know, on anything I build. I probably shouldn't have got even this carried away with it, but that's it, man. That's what we did today. It was a fun day. Over and out. We'll see you next time. You know, what should we build next? I'm already thinking about my next engine build, and I think we should build a high compression engine, don't you, for the factory appearing series, and go out there and really try to be competitive. But anyway, over and out from Greater Minnesota.